The Georgia Bulldogs are going to be the #1 ranked team in the country when the college football playoff rankings drop this coming Tuesday. Don't think there's a ton of debate about that. If you are debating about that, think it's sort of a stretch. They made a huge statement in Athens, Georgia against the #1 ranked team, Tennessee Volunteers. That game came and went. They're the best team in the country. What I don't know that we're giving enough credit to is the fact that they're also, in my opinion, the most dangerous team in the country. Now, to be the best and most dangerous are actually two different things. You could say the best animal is the lion, but I'll tell you what, the most dangerous thing is that venomous snake. Wrap that into one, and I think you have the Georgia Bulldogs right now. First and foremost, the offense is becoming increasingly more balanced. Previous Georgia teams had been ground and pound, hand the ball to their running back, strong offensive line, and just basically out-physical you, right? Like that's what you think of when you think about the brand of Georgia football. Well, coming into that game against Tennessee, they were averaging 37 attempts passing from Stetson Bennett and company. So if you want to think about it that way, I mean, they were a pass-first program. And the last two games, they've been more balanced. They've had more rushing attempts than passing attempts. Now you say, okay, that's great. They can beat you a couple different ways. Why is that important? To the point, why is that dangerous? Think about it this way. If you were to get in a fight, who would you not want to get into a fight with? What kind of individual would you not want to be in the cage with? The one that can fight multiple ways. The guy that, hey, if we're going to make it a wrestling match, he's going to choke you out. If it's MMA, you better look out. They're throwing haymakers. If it's karate, like you see what I'm saying here, the different styles that Georgia can attack you with completely changes the kind of games that they can win. And the fact they can win a track meet or they could win a game that ends up being 7-3, I'm just telling you, for Georgia going forward, they will have to play these different kind of games. They've already done it at this point in the year, and the offense, the balance they have offensively is continuing to make them a lethal program right now. And they're led by Stetson Bennett. And I'm so happy for Stetson Bennett and the season that he's had to this point in the year, because a lot of people, even after they won the national title, they said, well, that's great. That defense was generational, right? You saw it, I saw it. The NFL clearly saw it as they're all playing for one of those 32 teams right now. But let's be real. Can Stetson Bennett win them football games? Like when they say, hey, 13, go make a play. Go get us down the field. Go engineer a game-winning drive. Is he going to be that guy without that defense? I don't know. Well, we saw what happened on Saturday, and we've seen what he's done throughout the duration of the year. I don't know if he's lighting up the stat sheet from a touchdown perspective, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but he's been really efficient. 67% completion percentage. He's got a top 10 QBR in the country, and he's a playmaker. Like I don't think this whole Stetson Bennett narrative is fair anymore. I understand he's a walk-on. I understand he doesn't have the same shine of a Caleb Williams or a Heisman Trophy Bryce Young or having the statistical output of a Drake May, but Stetson Bennett, for my money, is one of the best quarterbacks in the country and does what Georgia asks him to do really, really effectively. And his maturation, his step forward in this program is a reason why you're seeing them continue to churn the way they were a year ago. It's been a different style, right? The offense is kind of taking a step up, and Stetson Bennett is a big reason why. Also, they got freak shows on the outside and Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington. When they get A.D. Mitchell back, it's going to be a problem, but Kenny McIntosh and Dejan Edwards have done a phenomenal job toting the rock and adding to that whole recipe for them offensively to make the run game even more dangerous. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. We had a lot of the Georgia faithful join us in the last 24 hours. Thank you. We love you. And if you haven't yet, come join the party. Also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JD Piquel. All right. The defense is also maturing, and that's another reason why I think they're so dangerous, because to go back to it, they lost a lot defensively in terms of guys that were really talented and now have an NFL logo on their respective jersey and helmet. 8 new starters. Guys that had played, yes, but been starters, you had 8 new guys in the lineup. And through 9 games now, they're starting to, you can see it, they're starting to really click. Like they had only allowed, I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 points a game. They were still elite in every statistical category. But the fact they're now going to be playing their best football, in my opinion, in November, that's dangerous for everybody else, because we saw it against Tennessee. My biggest question was, okay, Tennessee, they're going to spread you out. They're going to make you play matchup ball. And Tennessee hadn't lost a matchup ball kind of game all year long. Just ask Alabama. They got what they wanted and then some against that program. How would Georgia respond? Well, Georgia responded in an emphatic fashion, and I think we got to see they're able to play that kind of matchup ball. They have those guys that are sort of stepping into their role now and are not going to be under those bright lights and have any issues. Because that stage was as big as it gets in college football. Game day was there. The eyes of the country was on that game, and they stepped up in an emphatic fashion. Keely Ringo, that interception against Cedric Tillman, where it was kind of a 50-50 ball in the game, and he went up and snagged it. I know Keely Ringo's a guy that has had a lot of games under his belt, so maybe this is a poor example, but all that's to say, Georgia playing matchup ball, they can win, and I believe they can win routinely now going forward. And so that defense continuing to mature, continue to get their sea legs, I'm just saying, in November, it's going to be dangerous for everybody else across the college football landscape. So here's the final point I want to make. Yes, the offense is elite. Yes, the defense is really, really good. But the thing that I think gets lost when you talk about Georgia is outside of the personnel, they can make you play whatever game they want to play. Like when you show up and you play the Georgia Bulldogs, you're playing by their rules. And we saw that against Tennessee. Kirby said, we wanted to play in the box. We made them play in the box. And that was how it went down. And you saw what happened. Tennessee ran for, I believe it was less than 100 yards. And Georgia was able to win the line of scrimmage. And that was just kind of the way it went because of how well they scheme it up. With Kirby at the helm, you got Glenn Schumann, Will Muschamp on the defensive side, Coach Munkin on the offensive side. Like they're some of the best strategists in terms of winning the chess game during the week in college football. To flip the script, against Florida, I said, you're not going to be able to cover Brock Bowers. Sorry about it. You know it and I know it. Now, to credit Florida a little bit, it's pretty difficult to cover Brock Bowers regardless of who you are. But Georgia knew that was their matchup. They were going to continue to feed that, and you saw what happened. They rung up over 40 points. Like the way that Georgia's able to make you, again, play by their rules is going to be scary for everybody else throughout the rest of college football. So yes, personnel is elite. They've recruited really, really well. They've got guys all over the field. But the things that Georgia has from a balance perspective and a maturation perspective on defense, and then the way they scheme it up from a chess game perspective, Georgia's dangerous. The best team in the country, don't get it twisted. But to take it a step further, the most dangerous team in the country as it stands right now. I'm JD Piquel, Nick Brake doing the real heavy lifting. This has been The Hard Count. Listen, we are live on Tuesdays at 1 Central, 2 Eastern, and Thursdays at that exact same time. So come join us, jump in the live chat. We'll have a good time. We'll run it up. Until then, we're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.